Hey everybody, Kevin here from ChangeWorks Interactive. Welcome back to the podcast, Changing Gears. This, as you probably know, is a show about making personal and professional change. Today I want to welcome a good friend of mine, Kathie Gilmour. Welcome, Kathie, to the show.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. I want to tell you about Kathie. And Kathie is a graduate from the University of Waterloo. And she developed a business several years ago called Canadian Washroom Products with her husband, Vic. And that ran successfully for a number of years. And then in 2016, Kathie decided to make a real switch or a real change, which we're going to talk about today. She changed to becoming a franchisee with McDonald's. And at that time, she had bought 4 stores. And added an additional store in February of last year. So lots of changes that are going on. Kathie is also was chosen by McDonald's to be interviewed by the Canadian Franchise Association magazine in May 2019. And she's on the website as well, being a fantastic ambassador for McDonald's. She is a mom. She's raised 2 wonderful kids who are grown adults now, Kristen and Nathan. And she has a husband, Vic. And despite Vic lying about his golf handicap occasionally, he's also a superb individual. So again, Kathie, welcome. And I wanted to sort of kick off today. You know, that's a big change that certainly you had gone through. With your involvement in McDonald's. What was it like? And I know your brother helped you get into the organization, but what was that like at the time, going from an industrial service business to becoming a franchisee at a number of locations for McDonald's? What was that like?
Yeah. Well, honestly, it was one of the scariest things I've done, and one of the best things I've done. We had run Canadian Washroom Products for about 20 years, and I had found myself being disengaged in the business, sort of been there, done that, could do it in my sleep kind of mentality. And I wanted to change, but I didn't feel at that point in my career that a change was possible. And I just thought, I'm going to ride this out. I'm going to put another 5, 6, 7 years in, and then I'm going to get out of this business, because it was getting harder and harder to navigate. And my brother had similarly been in a construction industry and sold it, and had decided to become a McDonald's franchise and franchisee. And he mentioned to me that he thought that I would be a great candidate for the registered applicant program. I really honestly felt, I was 50 at the time, and I really felt that there wouldn't be any company interested in taking on a 50-year-old at that time to change careers. But I decided to put the application in and was interviewed, and I was in the program within a couple of months.
That's amazing, Kathie. And it's very competitive to even get into the training, isn't it?
It's very competitive, yes. At that time, there were many quality applicants. And, I feel I had some great things going for me. I feel that there aren't a lot of female owner operators. It's a very male-dominated industry. And I think they really wanted to balance that out. I think they were really looking for some quality female applicants. And I think maybe I was in the right place at the right time with the right background in business. They're looking for people outside of the McDonald's business, people coming in with fresh perspectives, with different business experience and backgrounds. So I may have just been in the right place at the right time.
You also shared with me before the influence that your dad had on you, working at Carlon. You're working with him as well. What type of influence? And I had the pleasure of of playing golf with your dad and meeting your dad before, a lovely man who has since passed. What influence was he on you, Kathie? Like just having that business mindset and developing maybe some good fundamentals to get into something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I've given that a lot of thought. My father never finished high school. He was pulled out of high school to help support his family when he was about 17, but he had an incredible work ethic and he had incredible drive. And I think the one thing that made him most successful was, we talk now about EQ and leadership and self-awareness and those sorts of things, which they didn't talk about in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
But my father had all of that. He was a kind, generous, empathetic person who treated his employees like family. And I think that's what made it, and he had he had an incredible work ethic, right? So that all I think combined made him a successful business owner. And I saw the way he treated people, and I saw how hard he worked. And so I think a lot of those qualities and characteristics that he modeled for me, I have also carried on.
So you have that's great. You have 5 different stores. The geography, the distance between those stores is quite great, which I guess would be I guess it's good and bad. What would you say are some of the challenges or the barriers to operating a number of different franchises or different stores as an owner operator? What's some of the advantages to that? And what would you say are some of the downsides or disadvantages to being a franchisee?
Well, you're talking about the locations of my stores. So yeah. They're very unique because the communities themselves are very unique. I have a store in Elmira, which is a Mennonite community. I have a store in Fergus, which is a farming community and a flow-through community for summer traffic and campers and cottagers. I have one in Waterloo out by Blackberry, so surrounded by higher end homes and a lot of commercial buildings. And then I have a store in Kitchener, like pretty much downtown Kitchener, which is very much a city store. And then I have a store inside a Walmart right at the farmers market in Waterloo as well. So the challenges there are that the communities that we serve are very unique. So there's an adjustment to serving those communities and their unique qualities. Also, the distance between the stores can make it a bit more difficult or challenging because when your stores are closer together, you can transfer managers and crew, back and forth more easily. Yeah. When I'm asking someone to go from Kitchener to Fergus, I'm asking them to drive an hour every day, half hour to Fergus, half hour back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges that we face. But I love McDonald's. I really love McDonald's. I love the owner operator community is phenomenal. They are so supportive of one another, and we are such a cohesive group of people. I can honestly say that there's no rumblings, there's no discord with McDonald's Corp or with each other. We are all, we all have the same goals, and we all want the same thing for our business and for McDonald's, and that is to protect our brand, and protect the reputation of our brand. And McDonald's Corp is always there to support the owner operators. I mean, this past year with COVID, it's just been incredible how they have stepped up and stepped in to ensure that, we've all come through it, well financially. So I think there's a great advantage to being a franchise owner. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. When I own my own business, I had to constantly be reinventing the wheel,
sure.
Right? With McDonald's Corp, they've been there, done that. They tell you, if this is a policy you should implement in your business, you want to listen to them because they have the experience. And so you implement the policy, and they give you the freedom to run your own business, but they give you the framework to do it really well.
Awesome. That's great. What's your head count up to now with 5 stores? How many people do you employ?
Over 300.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I would imagine at some point as well that presents a problem. Like, I guess it's also, I know you have managers and store managers and supervisors that are managing those people, but ultimately you're responsible for those 300 people, and a lot of those people are young people that this might be their first job that they ever get. Does that present some problems in itself, Kathie? Like, are there unique issues that you're presented with young people that are, maybe just getting into this for the first time?
Yeah, there can be. Sometimes it's challenging to find quality candidates to hire.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate in that we have an excellent screening program that we use to hire. And it's a McDonald's based program where they go online and they answer questions and they do a little bit of a personality test. And then it tells them if they're green, yellow, or red. And we only interview those that come out with a green score.
Okay.
So that helps a lot. But the other challenge that we have is it's not an easy job. We expect a lot from our employees. And I can remember before I was a McDonald's owner operator, employers saying that, if they received an applicant from someone that had McDonald's on their resume as experience, that they would go to the top of the pile for a number of reasons, because their training program was world-class, and because they knew that if the person could do the job at McDonald's, that they most likely had, a great work ethic, were able to learn quickly, work in a stressful environment, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
And I look at these 15 and 16-year-old kids that it's their first job, and, we're putting them on drive-through face-to-face with, hundreds and hundreds of guests that are coming through our drive-through, over the lunch hour and over the dinner hour. And it's a tough job.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it's not a job for everyone. It's not a job that's carved out for everyone. You really need to have a certain personality in order to work at McDonald's. So that can present a challenge when we're looking for quality hires.
Yeah, for sure. I want to share with the viewers as well is that, I'm in the world of sound mental health. That's important. I know, Kathie, that's important to you. And I love the way that you have, and we've talked about this quite a bit, I love the way that you have supported employees that you have, that they just might need somebody to talk to. So, with COVID, you mentioned about COVID going on, and, we handle stress in different ways, and we cope in different ways. But for some of those people, they just need somebody to talk to, which they might not otherwise get.
Absolutely. I found that the support services available, they're just not adequate, and available for a lot of people. And those that are available are costly, and these young people do not have the financial means to get the help that they need. So for my management team, for my senior leadership team, I provide that for them at no cost.
Yeah, that's great.
I agree with you 100%. Sometimes you just need someone to talk through some of the things that you're going through.
Right. What's it like when you become a senior manager or you are a supervisor, and you also need that, maybe it's mentoring or coaching along the way? Do you do anything like that? And do your senior management team, do they also do something like that as well?
Yeah. I don't believe there's a ceiling on professional and personal development. I never have. I think until the day we die, we should always be, developing professionally and personally.
Yeah.
And McDonald's has an awesome training and development program, but it does end at some point. When you're a general manager or you're a supervisor, there comes a point where you've done all the modules and you've done all the training provided. And I didn't want that to stop. And I also feel that there's more of a leadership component that I want to see in my senior leaders. So I have leadership coaches for all of my management team, and I have leadership coaches for my supervisors, and I have a leadership coach.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in development for sure.
Very good. Very good. I guess finally, Kathie, I know you were talking about the geography and where you're located and how important it is for you to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the community. And I know that you're also really involved with community projects, and you support young people, and you support teams. Maybe give us a sense of some of the things that you and Vic have been involved in over the years that are important to you.
Sure. So a lot of it we got involved with when we became McDonald's owner operators. McDonald's is a very generous company with regards to supporting charities. And as I'm sure you all know, the Ronald McDonald House is near and dear to our heart.
Sure.
Support them financially every year. Kids Ability is another charity that we support. And then we like to get into the communities as well. We get into the local communities. So in Fergus, where we've got the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Center Wellington. We've got Woolwich Community Services in Elmira. There's so many, honestly, so many charities that we support, but we also support a number of hockey teams and soccer teams and just, mostly youth oriented charities and of course community charities, right? So that are the food banks and things like that as well. So, and I just love doing that. I love being involved in the communities.
How do you keep yourself balanced? Because when I think of your role and all the things that you're doing, that work-life balance really jumps out at me. So what is it that you do that keeps you on an even keel?
Honestly, I really try to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself and I'm not in a good place mentally and physically, then I can't be in a good place for anyone. So, I mean, I eat well, I sleep well, I make sure I get exercise, I get outside, I do lots of stuff outdoors, I meditate. So I take care of myself mentally as well as physically.
Yeah.
And that has to be the number one priority, really. And then I can show up well in all of the other aspects of my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I always learn something from the guests that we have on this show. My takeaway today, Kathie, is that it's important to have strong family connections. You're talking about your brother and your dad, and I'm sure your mom has a lot to do with that as well, and how that helps you as a person. And I think one of the things that's important as well is maintaining that balance. So whatever you're into, do it and do it passionately. Really spend some time doing those things that aren't work related, that really add value to your life. So I want to thank you, Kathie, for joining us today.
Thanks, Kev. I really appreciated being invited.
Oh, great, great. And for our viewers, we're going to keep the podcast coming. Please stay tuned. You can find Changing Gears on all your social media platforms. So stay tuned. Until next time, stay safe. Thanks again, Kath.
Thanks, Kev.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.